As we wrap up this 6-week series on healthy sex for your marriage, I want to ask you, what is your definition of quality sex in your marriage? As you think about that question, be careful that you don't create a box you can't get out of. Before you talk about this together, let's look at a few things. First, what does it mean? How would you define quality? So my definition means quality means that we both enjoy the experience. Quality means that we both enjoy the experience. The key here is the word enjoy and what that means to each one of you. So does that mean that both of us have an orgasm every time? No, not necessarily. If we define successful sex only by reaching orgasm, I think we can run the risk of missing out on some other great sexual experiences. But let's talk about this. My experience as a husband and marriage counselor is if someone doesn't have an orgasm, most of the time it's the wife. Now, does not having an orgasm mean the sex is bad? I think too many people think that it does, and I think that puts their sex life in a box. Even if a woman doesn't have an orgasm every time, it doesn't mean she does not enjoy the experience. It still feels good. She may love the closeness, she loves the attention, she loves the intimacy. As a guy, we want to please our wives, but guys, you have not failed if your wife doesn't have an orgasm. So listen up, that's not the gauge. Don't miss the experience because you bought into that idea. Communicate. What is quality for her? Ask her. And if orgasm is important to her each time, then work on that together. Ask her what she needs you to do, what helps her. Work on her having an orgasm first. But if she says she's okay if she does not have an orgasm every time, it's okay. You have not failed. Making the effort to understand your husband and making the effort to understand your wife is essential when you're talking about sex. There are differences that you may not totally get, but accepting them, it makes a huge difference in your sex life. It's like studying for an oral exam. Our study of male-female differences helps the conversation on sex move forward. In regards to quality in our sex life, what are our major differences? How do those affect us? Men tend to care more about the sex act, and women tend to care more about the state of the relationship. Here's an example. There have been so many times in our marriage that I've looked at Nancy and thought she was the sexiest thing that I've ever seen. And she is still thinking how impatient I was with her that morning. Differences. There's so much value in this difference though. We learn from each other. I learn how our sexual relationship is always better when our relationship is better. And Nancy learned how important sex is to me. And when we both embrace these differences, our sex life is great. So here's a couple more examples. For men, most men have more frequent desires than needs than their wife. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time. Women usually want trust. They want commitment. They need to feel safe with their spouse. Men have wider boundaries. What we as men think about may be different from what our wives think about in sex. Women, they want their husband to enjoy time with her. And when we accept these differences, instead of trying to change each other, a couple of things happen. First, it takes a big piece of conflict out of your marriage. And second, it really is fun to embrace these differences. You have so much to learn about each other. Actually, I don't think you will ever learn everything there is to know about your spouse, but you sure can have a lot of fun trying. So if you enjoyed this series, like this video, find the other video links in the description, comment below, and let us know what marriage topic, issue, or hang-up you'd like to hear about in the future.